Welcome to Davey Dave's Take. Today we are talking about Godzilla Minus One, the latest remake of the original classic. Post-war Japan is at its lowest point when a new crisis emerges in the form of a giant monster, baptized in the horrific power of the atomic bomb. I will be completely honest, this movie was not on my radar. I really didn't know much about it. The only reason I heard about this film was because a trailer was released and everyone went nuts for it. And my friend Dom, who has been on this channel before to discuss Godzilla vs. Kong, said he saw this movie and said I had to go see it. And I am happy I listened to my friend Dom's advice because Godzilla Minus One is fucking awesome. I have to preference again, as I have in other Godzilla reviews, I am not a Godzilla expert. I know people love Godzilla and know so much about it, but I've only seen probably 5 of the Godzilla films. But this is easily either my favorite or it's tied with my favorite Godzilla film, which is Shin Godzilla. I really did enjoy Godzilla Minus One. For me, I found Shin Godzilla a little bit more interesting because it was a lot of conversations in rooms and labs about how the fuck do we deal with something like this. But what I think Godzilla Minus One does better here is the cinematic feeling here. It feels like an epic giant Godzilla movie, and I mean that in the biggest compliment possible. But the main reason why Godzilla Minus One really works and why it's one of the best Godzilla films and one of the best doomsday type films is because there are characters here that we actually care about and are actually very interesting. Don't get me wrong, there are doomsday films I can turn my brain off and have fun, like The Day After Tomorrow or Independence Day, but the main problem with those films is that the human characters aren't very interesting. You don't really relate to them, and you really just don't care about them. And for me, that is the biggest issue with the MonsterVerse Godzilla films that have been coming out with the Godzilla vs. Kong. Those types of films, you just don't give a shit about the human characters. In Godzilla Minus One, it's really about the characters, their development, the trauma they're going through, and trying to overcome adversity. And Godzilla is the horrifying cherry on top. Our main character is a kamikaze pilot from World War II that survived, and immediately everyone in the film doesn't like him because they feel like he's failed his country, and he feels that himself. Not only does he feel like he failed his country, he feels like he failed everyone else, and sometimes he keeps that part of him a secret. So there's real growth. There are real moments where you feel like our character actually is overcoming something that is tearing him apart. And it sounds so simple on paper, but it seems like these types of films can never get those characters right, and Godzilla Minus One absolutely nails them. And it's not just the main character you care for, it's all the other characters too, and you really feel this bond. So when these action sequences are actually going down, you really feel some tension because you are actually rooting for them to win. And speaking of those sequences with Godzilla, they are beast. I love these sequences, these wide shots of Godzilla. The character design is amazing. It's horrific. It's really well done. I really love the special effects here. And there's one sequence where Godzilla is tearing apart a city and it's actually frightening. It's super effective and it looks great. On IMDb, it says this is a direct remake of the original film. I haven't seen the original film in quite some time, so I can't remember any specific details that are remade in Godzilla Minus One. But I will say there are musical callbacks that I definitely recognize, and I thought they were extremely effective and really well used. I really don't have any issues with this film. Like I said, it's extremely well made. I think I like it just as much as Shin Godzilla. The Godzilla parts in this film are fantastic. Godzilla is a fucking beast. It's awesome. But the best part about this film is that there's actually characters you root for. Real characters that are interesting and real characters that you want to see overcome adversity. I know it seems like that's not asking a lot, but you would be surprised in some of these doomsday films. But I gotta say, Godzilla Minus One, for me, was one of the biggest surprises of the year, and I definitely think you should go check it out if you're a big fan of Godzilla. I'm gonna give Godzilla Minus One 8.5 Davey Daves. I'm all for a sequel for this film. It seems like the filmmakers behind this film are big fans of Godzilla, know what they're doing, so if they want to make a sequel, I am all in. So, Godzilla Minus One. Let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear, and thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Davey Dave's Takes.